I need to find a way to put four. I need to find a way to put Well, I'm going to screen cap and then put in there for Frodo, but I need it for like epic moments. I just don't know like when like we would use it, but like
Nah,
I'm
it
gonna have it in there
really
though.
nah. It's got to be like a whenever we would just be talking about something and just say it's a for Frodo moment.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
there is moments in movies that are like that, but there is no moment in any movie that hits like that,
Nah,
dude.
dude.
Dude, dude,
Respectful.
tell me,
No, no, no,
no,
no.
all three movies. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you. All three movies. Lord of the Rings. Aragorn has some of the best scenes. Fellowship of the Ring, when he gets them all up after Gandalf falls, and he just takes control, and you can tell he's fucked up, but he's like, I gotta lead them. By nightfall, these hills will be swarming with orcs. We have to make it to the yeah, exactly. That, and then the scene when he finds Frodo after Boromir tried to take the ring, and he's like, and he closes it and he goes, I would have followed you all the way to Mordor, or whatever the fuck he says. Basically, he says that. But he doesn't take the ring, bro. Second movie. This motherfucker, Aragorn. Again, some of the best scenes. Convincing them to fucking, like, talking to the kid before they're about to go and fight in Helm's Deep, in the Battle of Helm's Deep.
I was gonna say the battle when Gandalf shows up for the Battle of Helm's Deep might be on the for Frodo level.
And then
That might be on.
in the third movie, no, Gandalf's speech in the third movie is fantastic to Pippin. But Aragorn in the third movie, banger. Just everything. Everything that motherfucker does. Everything Aragorn does in the Fellowship when he jumps on top of Weathertop and he just starts fucking up the ring raids. Before when Frodo gets stabbed, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Aragorn's sick, bro.
My boy Strider.
Aragorn.
My boy Strider is built different. Okay? Strider is built different. I don't want to hear anybody. No,
Aragorn could beat Eisen.
Don't.
Aragorn could beat Eisen.
Okay, let's not go that far. That's not fair to Aragorn.
No, but Aragorn is built different though.
Aragorn is
Dude,
built different. If Aragorn was a Soul Reaper, then Eisen's cooked. Okay, that yes.
My favorite Aragorn moment is when he says, "My friends, you bow to no one." Like,
Dude,
that gives me goosebumps
GOAT.
every time.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah. Yeah. Faramir
Faramir
was my favorite from the books.
is also great. Faramir is also great. Boromir is amazing. Boromir is amazing. Faramir is amazing. Okay, let's be honest here. There is not a single character in Lord of the Rings who is not amazing. The question is, how long can we talk about how amazing each one is? Because I could literally do this entire stream just talking about how great each of these characters is. I really could.
Here's my thing.
There is no such thing as can you find a single character in Lord of the Rings that actually sucks? Like
not
a bad
sucks.
character. No, like a character, not a character that you hate. Like a character that actually is not a good character. Like a character you can prove story-wise. Like by definition is a bad character. I don't think one exists. Like even in the books, like even like Gambling who gets attacked when the wargs first show up, and he gets the warg jumps on his face and fucking kills him, shakes him around and shit in Two Towers. Dude, he's got an entire fucking story in the books, but not even that. In the movie, it's an implied story because you have him be the one that first greets them before when they're like, I told you to take the wizard's staff. Like that's like Gambling is the guy that should have taken the staff. He was the one that was like right hand of the king and like his guard. and like he went ahead of the party. He ended up dying, and then later, when they're at Helm's Deep, that kid that Aragorn's trying to hype up is Gamling's son. So like it's implied shit. So even that guy who has a couple scenes like Boba Fett fucking dies. And but there's still an implied story around that dude in the movie, even though in the book he has a lot more. So I don't think you can say that there's a single character in Lord of the Rings that does not have a that is not characterized.
So
Like
here's my thing.
even the enemies, right? Even just the enemy troops, like the Easterlings, like the ones that end up
Yeah.
riding the Mumakil, the elephants, the Oliphants, the guys that are like marching to
Yeah.
Helm's Deep, and Frodo and Sam almost get caught and have to hide under the elven cloaks that shield them from evil eyes. Like those guys that walk up, like they're explained, right? They just explain them
Yeah.
through context and through the wicked men from the east that have joined through a pact with Sauron. It's like that's all you need to know is they're
Yeah.
through their attire, through the way they dress, through the animals that they have, through the weaponry that they use. You can tell that they're from a desert. You can tell that they're almost based on Middle Eastern. And it's very like it's super interesting shit, but it
The
works.
only thing that I'll say is that and please don't call this heresy. I like Legolas slightly more in the books than I like him in the Lord of the Rings movies. That's all.
He doesn't do a
That's
lot of
all.
books though. He does shoot a Nazgul in the fucking neck in the middle of the night, though. In the first book, before Lurtz isn't in the book, but it would be before Boromir dies. So the night before Boromir dies, when they're camping out, he sees this giant shadow, and he just fucking shoots at it, and he hits it, in the neck, and it's a fucking Nazgul, and it screams and flies away, and he's basically just like, bitch. And everybody's like, wow, that was nutty. And he's like, yeah, fucking dragon left, though. And they're like, okay, cool, good shit, Legolas. We got to be careful about that thing. And they're like, yep.
Yeah. I mean,
There's also a lot of
here's my
characters.
thing.
Like, there's characters that show up here. Like, Arwen is barely in the book. And I think that adding more
That was
Arwen.
the character Tolkien put. See though,
Yes,
Crimson is kind of right.
No. That's actually true, and Tolkien has said that. That's why there's a lot about Legolas in the appendices. Like, a lot. Not a lot, but like a good amount. You know what I mean? Like he put like
I've never read them, so
well, they're in the back of the book. If you have the book, you can read them. They should be in the back of it.
Well, here's my thing,
You
and
should literally look
I
up the name Legolas and then like just like scroll to the page and like read about Legolas. You should be.
I love Legolas. He is a fantastic character, but he's my least favorite Fellowship character. Like, out of like all of the Fellowship,
I
he
don't
might be
know,
like my
dude.
least
The
favorite.
three hunters are fucking fire.
I'm not saying no, but like I'm saying
okay. How are you counting the Fellowship? Are you counting the original 9 members of the Fellowship, or are you counting
the OG9?
So okay, because there's the OG9, and then there is what is considered by fans to be the Fellowship by the end of the three movies, and it's not even considered by all the fans. It's not even really considered by me. I do like the thought of it. I don't technically consider it, but the thought would be that characters such as Éomer, Éowyn, Theoden, Faramir, they're all part of the Fellowship in a way because they help the Fellowship move forward, and they're all part of Frodo and Sam's story. And Gollum, even Gollum would be considered.
No, Gollum's no.
No, because that's part of it. Because Smeagol, not Gollum. The Smeagol part would be part. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the thing is that they all helped get the ring there. That's all. They're all part of the Fellowship of the. I like the idea of it. I don't technically subscribe to it, but if you're talking about the original 9 members, as in Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin, Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn, Boromir, and Gandalf.
Yeah. I still love
I mean, I think pretty
Legolas,
much
but he is my least favorite. He is my least favorite.
I think everybody's favorite characters probably out of them it's either going to be there's three top picks with a fourth. So Legolas is a cool factor, so he's the fourth, right? Because everybody will say Legolas for the fourth. Then you have
I'm not saying he's not cool.
at
Yes.
number one is Aragorn. And Aragorn is also tied with Sam.
Sam is my favorite, so yeah.
And then you also have Gandalf, which a lot of people love. And then you have the Gimli stands, which is like Crimson here. Crimson loves Gimli. I don't blame him. Everybody does. See, it's like this again. Like Malfoy Tape agreed with me. This is the problem you run into. There is not a bad character in Lord of the Rings. I could tell you my favorite. See, because here's the thing. If I were to walk up to somebody, right, who was a Lord of the Rings fan, and say, "Who's your favorite character?" and they said, "My favorite character is Grima Wormtongue," I'd be like, wow.
Still a fantastic character.
I'd be like, wow, that's really interesting. Why is that? And they would likely have a very interesting reason as to why Grima Wormtongue is their favorite character. And I'd go, yeah, my favorite character is not that, but I understand why. Now that you've explained to me that, hey, it's the dichotomy between how he feels about serving Saruman and like betraying his people, and then the way that he feels about betraying his people afterwards, but he doesn't feel like he can go back, and he's stuck with Saruman, who's just berating him, and he's so evil, and at the end he tries to do everything that he can to get back at Saruman, but he ends up dying because they need it. You know, like if somebody would explain all that to me, I'd be like, yeah, I can see why that's your favorite character. I see why you like that story. Or like, hey, that story relates to how I felt about this certain relationship in my life or what. Like, I'd be like, yeah, cool. That's a really weird favorite character to have out of everybody in Lord of the Rings, but I can see why you like that character.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody were to explain to me, like it would be a lot more difficult for you to explain to me why Riva is your favorite character from Star Wars.
Well, I've never heard anybody say that, to be fair. But
Neither have I, but it would be very difficult for someone to explain that to me.
who is your favorite Lord of the Rings character anyway? Is
That's
it
not a fair
Aragorn?
question. That's not a fair question.
Sorry.
I will be completely honest with you. It changes every time I'm asked. Like right now, I'll tell you it's Boromir, but tomorrow I'll tell you it's somebody else.
Am I one of the few people?
I do love Boromir, though. I absolutely fucking love Boromir. He is one of my favorite. He is up there. He is up there.
I can say without any
I think
hesitation.
Christian probably hit the nail on the head that it's probably going to be Theoden and Aragorn for me. Theoden is like the perfect king. I think he's probably one of my favorite characters in cinema. He's just such a good character. Boromir also is the quintessential, just good-hearted person who is corrupted by evil. It proved the power of the ring. That was Boromir's purpose, was to prove the power of the ring in the story. Because when you get these flashbacks of Boromir, which I can't believe were cut from the movie,
right?
when you get the flashbacks of Boromir, like he is like Captain America, man. Like he's like Steve Rogers. Like he's Captain Gondor. You know, like he is their Captain America. He's like the sweetest guy. He's nice to everybody. He loves his brother. He loves his father. He loves his country. He loves protecting people. That's all he wants to do. And like the ring corrupted that. And we don't see that version of him. You know, like Boromir is amazing. Definitely one of my favorites.
I mean, but it's kind of like what you said. Like, there's not a bad written Lord of the Rings character, so it's kind of.
Now everybody is written so fucking cool, dude. Like, and like, there's characters that are mentioned, like Elendil. That like, so fucking sick.
Yeah.
So fucking sick. You gotta read about them, but goddamn, read the Silmarillion. It's boring to some. It's amazing to me. Boring to some, because to some people it's like it's all history. Yeah, fucking read it. If you're into Lord of the Rings, you'll like it. Bro, they created the universe through music. How fucking cool is that? God said, I'm going to create children. I'm not going to give them sight. They will not gain sight until they realize how to harmonize.
Bruh.
So they have to sing and harmonize in order to gain sight. And then in order to gain other things, they need to harmonize and gain other abilities. And then through those abilities, through harmonization, they can create life. And
That's crazy.
Melkor created discourse in the harmonization. So I like to think of it as like they were singing like classical music and he's just playing fucking death metal. Like in the middle of it.
On God, bro.
And like
On
it's just creating orcs. It's like and they're playing like and he's just like you know, like and it's just creating orcs.
Yeah.
They're just creating elves. Like
Yeah.
it's like that's how it is. They created the world through music. It's fucking cool. It's a very cool
That is
concept.
really cool. That is really cool.
The harmonization of the gods created music or
I
created
can't say
everything.
that I've read the Silmarillion, but now I kind of want to pick it up.
No, that's only the beginning. That's literally only the first couple chapters. It goes
That's
into
crazy.
like wait till you get to like the War of Wrath and like the Children of Hurin, Baron and Luthien, where fucking Sauron can turn into a vampire, like a vampire and also a fucking werewolf, and he fights a giant wolf as a werewolf, and like, dude,
I remember
dude,
kids in high
there's
school.
there's crazy
were-
shit where there's fucking like the motherfuckers are like this tall, like literally like that big, fighting Morgoth.
Yeah.
It's like the size of a person compared to a dude like this big, and he's just fucking dodging Morgoth, and his sword can like block his fucking dude. He's fighting these motherfuckers. These elves are crazy.
I
These motherfucking
remember.
elves are crazy.
I remember in high school.
This is what we missed out on. We got the Rings of Power instead.
I
Remember,
remember
when
in
you're
high
reading the
school.
Silmarillion, anybody out there, when you're reading the Silmarillion, remember, think to yourself after every chapter, we got the Rings of Power instead.
Oh my God. I remember you told me once that your class in high school got assigned to read The Hobbit, and like people were groaning and moaning, but then after they all read it, they all said it was fantastic. So I'm like,
No, we didn't get
Tolkien
assigned.
wrote.
We had to read some of the Hobbit. It wasn't the whole thing. It was
Oh,
it's like a portion. And I already read it. I didn't have to fucking read it. I already read that shit multiple times. I didn't have to read shit. I knew those
yeah,
chapters. All I had to do was go back in there and get quotes. That was it.
yeah,
I wrote that shit as soon as I got home. It took me like fucking an hour to write like 5 pages on The Hobbit. Are you kidding me? I talk about The
yeah.
Hobbit here. I could talk about The Hobbit for an hour right now.
So actually,
What do we
here
have to
is kind of a
do
question.
around Christmas time? We need to do a Lord of the Rings stream
Agreed.
and
What's your
just
favorite
talk
book?
about my favorite book.
Yeah, out
Ooh,
of all the, out of
that's
all of, out of all of the series, what's your favorite book?
out of all the Tolkien books. So you're including.
Yeah,
So okay,
yes,
I'm only gonna include the Silmarillion, um, the Hobbit, and the trilogy.
yeah.
I'm not going to include like Unfinished Tales and the other spin-off shit. Um, oof. I want to say Two Towers because the characterization of Gollum in the Two Towers book is really fucking good. Everything going on with Helm's Deep is really good. You get a lot. Like I like the way so the way that Two Towers is in the book that it's not in the movie is it's not cutting back and forth. You get like all of the story of
Yep,
Aragorn, Gimli,
yep,
and Legolas, and everything with Merry and Pippin, and then you get everything with Frodo and Sam,
yep, yeah.
and that's the end of it. And the Frodo and Sam bits all lead into Return of the King, and then it cuts back to everything that Aragorn and all them are doing, and then it starts going back and forth in Return of the King.
Yeah.
I think Two Towers is probably my favorite book. It's really good. I
It
had a lot. I just
changes for
remember.
me.
So like it's been a long time since I've read them, but I just remember like not wanting to put that one down. I just remember having so much fun. And the characterization for all of the Rohirrim, like every single member of the Rohirrim is like a character, and they're all like they're all part of this. Like there's characters that aren't in the movies that are in this. They're also in games. Like they're in Battle for Middle Earth 2, like the strategy game. They're in like Lord of the Rings Conquest. Like there's characters that are in these books that are in games that I played. I'm like, oh, that's like so and so when I was reading it. Like or they're in like the Two Towers game. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I think Two
I,
Towers is probably my favorite one.
I can't lie to you, The Hobbit's mine. I think just
It's a good book.
seeing the
I'll be reading it to my children someday. The Hobbit's a great book.
I think that The Hobbit is not saying that I dislike any of the other books. I love the trilogy, but something about The Hobbit, bro, just because that was what got me into the series. I hadn't seen any of the movies, and then my mom bought me the Hobbit book, and I read it, and I was like, bruh, this is awesome. And it's
Yeah,
just
Riddles
like
in
a
the Dark
bunch
is
of
great. Riddles in the Dark is an amazing scene. Whether or not you're reading it or watching it, it is very good.
yeah,
I know
and
Andy
I
Serkis
think
I believe Andy Serkis got an Oscar for that.
he should have because
Yes.
that was fantastic.
Yeah,
That was fantastic. But so like to kind of like the point that like, I'm trying to make here is that like I so what I love
he
about
has
The
not
Hobbit,
won an Oscar.
bro, Andy Serkis has not won an Oscar. It's crazy. Um, so The Hobbit
It's
is
retarded.
like, yeah, The Hobbit is like I think the way that like the way that that particular book is like, structured, it's like little mini tales that all kind of adds up later.
Yeah.
It's something that is like really, really cool. And what I kind of like about it is that like you could tell that Tolkien didn't that like he was forming the series, but the rain doesn't really matter that much
No,
in the Hobbit
so
book.
actually what to my knowledge what happened was his kids were so interested in the story that he turned it into something. He just had the idea of a magic ring. There was nothing
Ah,
special about it. He created
the Hobbit was
he
so
created
that
these
he told
creatures
the
of
kid, right?
he created these creatures of the god like the goblins. Obviously, goblins are already a mythical creature. He created this creature of the orcs. Um, the elves were a different form of elf. They were more regal. Obviously, the elves that we see in Lord of the Rings, they're a completely different form of elf than like Santa's elves or mythical elves.
Yeah.
They are more so like what one would describe as being the Anunnaki or
Yep.
like the Nephilim giants type of thing. They're tall. They are all about 6-7 foot tall. They are beautiful. They are very angular faced, pale, long hair. Like they're very different looking than humans. Pointy
Mm-hmm.
ears. They live long lives and they're amazing at everything, pretty much. Um,
Yeah.
that's an elf compared to a human. A human is imperfect, and like he created all of this stuff for this children's book. And the dwarves are the opposite of elves, right? They're short. They do live longer than humans, but they're gruff. They're very like rough and tumble and not so elegant, right?
Mm-hmm.
They live underground.
Yes.
They don't like the sun or the stars. They're very different, and they don't get along with the elves. And that was this. It was this nice children's book that he created, and his children loved it so much that he figured, oh, this fancy little ring that I created, I could probably make a story out of this. And Mr. Bilbo Baggins.
Ah, okay.
Now he
Because
had already done a lot of work on the world and already had
I know
ideas.
that
He
I
already
know
had
that the
ideas of
Hobbit
No, he already had ideas about creating more, and he already had all these notes about creating more, but it was mostly like the intrigue of the Hobbit that got him to be like, yeah, I can do this.
I know that the Hobbit was like stories that he like, told to his kids and
It was,
all
it
that
was the
stuff.
whole story that he wrote.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I'm not saying this. I love the Hobbit movies, but rereading the Hobbit books kind of makes the movies not make as much sense, only because you can tell where they added a bunch of stuff in there. And
Oh, dude,
like,
there's so much shit added in there everywhere. I could tell when I was 12 when I saw the first one. I was like, hey,
yeah,
Azog's
yeah,
not real.
yeah, yeah. And then when Legolas shows up, I'm like,
Yeah, I was
you're
a
not
kid.
in the Hobbit.
Yeah, I was okay with it though. I was not. I still think that the love triangle's stupid. I do have fun with the Hobbit movies, but I do think the love triangle's stupid. Like, the riddles in the dark scene is fucking phenomenal. Whether or not you like the
Yes.
Hobbit movies, I do think that the first Hobbit movie is probably the best one. My favorite one's the second one. I think the best one's the first one.
Really?
Yeah, the best one, the most accurate one is the first.
Installation's good.
The second one, Desolation of Smaug, is my favorite. I fucking love Bilbo talking to Smog. All of that whole sequence is just so good. Benedict
Yeah.
Cumberbatch killed it as Smog, dude. He was great.
Do you like the Battle of the Five Armies?
I have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit gratuitous at points. Like, especially if you watch the extended edition, there's like a lot of gratuitous violence. And like it's fun the first time you watch the extended edition, and then you're watching the extended edition, you're like, okay, beheading, 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 beheading. Stupid joke, beheading, stupid joke, beheading. You get more of the dwarves. I do like seeing all of the dwarves actually do something in the extended editions. Like you get a lot more, not characterization. If it was actually like a Peter Jackson film, the way that it was for Lord of the Rings, all of these dwarves, all 13 of them would have been characterized very well within the
He didn't
first.
have as much power with the Hobbit movies, I feel
Well,
like.
within the first 3 hours of the first the first movie, they would have all been much more characterized, I believe.
Yes.
You get a lot because you get a lot of that when they're at Bilbo's house in the beginning. Kind of, sort of, especially when they're singing the song, you get a little bit of a sense of who they are. When they're eating, you get a sense of who they are as each character. When they're all talking and having a conversation, you get a sense of who they are. You kind of lose that for a while, and then it comes back. But a lot of it comes back in deleted scenes, and the scenes that are left in are mostly for Beaufort, Thorin, Balin, Dwalin,
Yep.
and that's pretty much it. And until Keely gets sick, and Philly and Keely as well, until Keely gets shot,
Yeah.
then things change. I do think that the Desolation of Smog is really fun though. I think it's a fun.
Desolation. So like the
I know
first two are
people have
good.
their problem with the river scene and the barrels, and I get it. It's fucking ridiculous, but it's also it happens in the book. I'm not saying it's ridiculous in the book. I'm saying it happens in the book, but the scene is ridiculous in the movie. I get it. The love triangle is fucking stupid. Tariel's not real. I understand all that, but I would take more Middle Earth projects at that quality than any Rings of Power.
My problem with the Battle of the Five Armies is that Bilbo's knocked out for like 90% of that battle. So
No,
like
dude,
most of that movie's just made.
no. He's only knocked out for the finale of that battle. You got to give him a little bit
Oh,
more. He's in Dale. So he's on the battlefield. He leaves the battlefield. He goes to Dale. He gets out of Dale. He gets up. He gets all the way up to Ravenhill. And then when he gets up to Ravenhill, he fights a group of fucking orcs. And it's not until Bolg shows up and knocks him out.
right. Yeah.
Right? Like,
True.
so he does do like a pretty good amount.
How much of that movie though do you think is like made up? I'd say like 60% of it's like made up.
The entire battle is made up.
Yeah, because like
The entirety of the battle.
we don't see it. We don't see it
No,
in the
no, it's meant because it was a children's. But he didn't have to describe it. He was like, they fought and they fought and they fought, and all these
yeah.
people showed up, And this shit was crazy, bro. Swear to God, craziest shit I ever seen. They were shooting laser beams, and these birds showed up, and this guy could turn into a bear, and there was dwarves and orcs and some elves, and these guys from the lake with fishing rods. And like, bro, it was crazy. And Bilbo's running around, and he got out of it, and all the other dwarves got out of it, but the line of Durin, nah, they're dead. Thorin and like Fili and Kili, they died. That's basically the explanation, and that's an entire page. And it's like like it. He didn't want to be like they were brutally fucking executed one by one. Like it's a
no.
straight to the.
I'm not saying that. I'm not slating the Hobbit book. I'm saying that, like, the Battle of the Five Armies movie.
That's how much is made up. Like the entire battle is made up.
Yeah.
A lot of the shit with Thranduil is made up, but I love Thranduil as a character. I think he's great. I think he's really well acted. I think he's really well done character. Thranduil's cool. Yeah. He's just cool, dude. He's an elf king that rides a fucking hart into battle, like a red hart, like a giant elk. Bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is...
His elk can fight, too.